Thank you, Dr. Fung. I'm Cathy Schwally-Farmer.
Please go ahead.
And we're excited to talk about entrepreneur opportunities. Maureen and I are going back and forth. Is there a way for us both to be unmuted? Lawrence?
Yeah, it might be easier if we can just manage the PowerPoint ourselves based on what we...
I think we're okay. Okay, next slide.
Okay, so we had started the Autism Angel Group. We realized that there was a real huge opportunity to create new opportunity pathways to include neurodiverse job seekers. And so we founded the group because we had a mission. We both wanted to fund new inventions and innovations that make a positive social impact for the autism community, and also to support neurodiverse founders and entrepreneurs.
Next slide. So a little bit about myself, Cathy, and you can see my email if you need to reach me. I've been involved in autism since the early 60s when my first brother was diagnosed with autism, and then I had another brother of my 4 brothers diagnosed in his 20s. And my father was a huge autism advocate. He actually started the Organization for Autism Research, and he always wanted me to connect my tech background with my my autism advocacy as an older sister, and it's been a great journey. And Maureen and I worked together last year, and it was a perfect time for us to partner.
Yeah, and both Cathy and I are very passionate advocates for neurodiversity and have dedicated our lives to this important mission. We both have very unique stories, personal stories that we really don't have time to share here, but please feel free to reach out to us for more information about our backgrounds. There's also a lot of information on our Autism Angels Group website. And a few years ago, I founded the Transition to Success Project. It's a program that provides customized support to teens with autism spectrum disorders as they transition to the college or apprenticeship opportunity of their choice. I've been very fortunate to receive a lot of support for this program, including the support of local Rotary clubs in terms of organizing fundraisers for the program. And Temple Grant also expressed her support and enthusiasm for this transition program, especially as we pair high school seniors with consistent mentors and offer skill building workshops.
Next slide. So this is the criteria that we use for our Autism Angels investment group. I'll let you read that, but let me add some other things to consider. So although this is the criteria to submit a startup for investment, we also have investment considerations. So it's more subjective. So the things that we consider to invest is the ability for the founders to deliver. What does the leadership team look like? Is there evidence of execution? What's the traction and the vision of the company? What's the product readiness? What is the unique intellectual property that's there? What is the traction of the sales funnel and their solidness of that sales funnel? What are the deal terms? What stage is the company? What is the potential and pre-money cap? And then what is the high social impact measures associated with the startup, which is something I'm going to talk about more. So I'm using a lot of startup language, and I might have gone real fast, but some of those decisions around making an investment are what a lot of startup investors consider. Next slide. So let me talk about what I think is one of the most important things I want to share here is social impact investments and measures. In addition to regular return on investment and cost savings, we want to see a positive social measurable impact for social impact startups related to autism and founders who are on the spectrum. So we look at things like improved outcomes for time saved for people on the spectrum with their practitioners and educators' families, and the longevity of that impact. I'm going to give you a very quick list of some of the examples of social impact measures that then you can translate into dollars, and we can help you do that as a startup. So behavior improvements, meltdown reduction, well-being and quality of life, independence, added skills, communication improvements, added jobs for ASD people, increased housing opportunities, and quality of employment. Next slide.
So since we operate a little differently from a traditional venture capital model, the social impact metrics, including the number of people we help employ on the spectrum, is really very important to us. And so the strategic partnerships are also really important, where our goal really is to build a coalition of partners that will help us with our mission and work on this goal of the employment mission, employing more people with the spectrum. And so we work with quite a broad number of partners, includes investment funds, accelerators, incubators, nonprofits, universities, employers, as well as employment consultants and agencies. Next slide, please.
These are just some examples of some current partnerships that we have. Obviously, we're partners with Dr. Fung's project, the Organization for Autism Research, which is a fiscal sponsor for us in a 5013C, and then other foundations and other funds. And if you're interested, we have that information where you can become a partner on our website. Next slide. And this is just a little bit of information. Anyone, in my opinion, and I've been working with startups since pretty much out of college, can be an entrepreneur. Some need more support. Some founders need more support than others, but all founders need some level of support. We have a brand new newsletter that we're going to show you a video about in a moment. And we are going to have a beginner's guide of being an entrepreneur. And this is for neurotypicals and neurodiverse. And here's a bunch of different startup accelerators that are very helpful in the neurodiverse community. And I'll let you, we put their websites on there, and this is available for you to apply for whatever their criteria is. It's slightly different than ours, and each one has a different flavor of the kinds of startups they're looking for. But they all give great support for founders and autism startups. Next slide.
So prior to the Autism Angel Group, I'd been leading some pre-accelerator programs and bringing together teams, including coding boot camps and rapid prototyping programs. And our hope is that more people in the neurodiversity community will find each other and build a company that Autism Angel Group would then fund and support. So one example is an inclusive coding academy. It's for anyone 16 and over. It's free as it's funded by grants and private donors. And the coding boot camps now are virtual. However, we still include employers who donate their time. If you go to the next slide, I'll just give you an example. Actually, this is about the hackathon. So there's employers such as Microsoft that have participated in, and we'll talk a little bit about others. But for the Inclusive Coding Academy, we also offer a strength-based assessment process and innovative strength-based transcript, in addition to a certificate of completion to showcase skills mastered to employers. And here's an example, just was a really, in terms of just rewarding experience for me and the other instructors at the boot camp, this was an intro to coding games workshop that was funded by the Discovery Partners Institute and private donors. And it was for everyone over 16, but there was a young man who had been unemployed since high school for a couple of years and had felt discouraged, had not attended college, really was interested in playing games, but attended this coding boot camp and realized that how talented he was with coding. And he ended up receiving the grand prize at the hackathon for his independent game, which was just really quite amazing. Next slide, please. And so here's just an example of, in addition to skill building workshops, we've been fortunate that there's been a number of large employers that have wanted to participate in our coding boot camps and other workshops so that they can talk to students about different types of career opportunities. Next slide, please. This was just the same student I mentioned a minute earlier who won the grand prize at the hackathon. It was just the faculty members. We just felt like we just loved what we do, because the student came up to us afterward and said this was the first time that he was treated like a normal, smart person. So I think it meant a lot for his career to see just how talented he was in coding and in terms of winning the grand prize. Next slide, please.
Oh, let's start that video, please, Lawrence. But the sound isn't there. So we can just read what it's saying there. I don't know why the sound is not there. I could hum, but I won't. Essentially, this is describing our brand new Autism Innovation newsletter that we're really excited about, and that will start being published in November. And we would like, if those who are interested in learning about it, when we have all these different aspects, you know, just fill out, go to info@autismangelsgroup.com to be part of our newsletter, and we will send it to you. We will be having all the things that are listed in this video within our newsletter. Thank you, Lawrence.
Yeah, and we're also going to be hosting a monthly coaching and networking session. So please get in touch with us at info@autismangelsgroup.com if you'd like to further connect with us.
Thank you, Cathy and Maureen. So next, I'd like to introduce Andrew Eddy and Shailene Chang, who will be moderating the next 3 hours